Hello, everyone. I hope you're having a beautiful day. Today, we're stepping into a quiet village where love refuses to fade, even when memory does. A woman waits, a man forgets, and a single ordinary dinner may change everything. If this story touches you, don't forget to subscribe so you won't miss the next chapter. Morning light slips gently through the bamboo leaves, scattering soft shadows across Tu Diem's face as she stands beside the old wooden stall. Her fingers grip her faded cloth bag a little too tightly, as if letting go might cause something important to disappear. Inside her chest, a quiet but stubborn wave keeps rising, an unshakable belief that Toan's memory will return someday. That the pieces of his life, stolen by that cruel accident, will find their way back to him like a river slowly returning to its original path. She speaks to the doctor's mother in a calm, respectful tone, asking if she can stay for dinner at the old woman's house, the place where Toan has been living since he lost his memory. Her voice sounds steady, but inside, her thoughts are anything but. Questions swirl endlessly in her mind. Was Toan's distant mother involved somehow? Did she arrange something to separate them, to force him to leave their love behind and follow her overseas? Tu Diem doesn't have proof, only a gnawing suspicion that refuses to fade. And every time she imagines Toan wandering through life without recognizing himself or her heart tightens with quiet pain. Outwardly, she smiles politely at the old lady, nodding as they talk about everyday things. But her eyes tell a different story, carrying a sadness she's learned to hide well. After that, she heads to the market, buying ingredients for the meal, carefully selecting each item as if the act itself were a prayer. To her, cooking tonight isn't just about food. It's about hope. About creating warmth, familiarity, and maybe, just maybe, a spark that could awaken something deep inside Toan. The rural morning is peaceful, almost deceptively so. Birds chirp, the air is cool, and everything seems calm. Yet inside Tu Diem, a storm quietly rages. She is young and gentle, but the strength she carries is immense, the strength of someone who refuses to give up. As she walks away, her slender figure blending into the red dirt path, she carries both fear and fragile hope with every step. Today, she tells herself, maybe Toan will come just a little closer to remembering. Dust lifts softly beneath her feet as Tu Diem steps into the old lady's yard. The first thing she sees is Toan. He's bent over, leveling the soil with steady, repetitive movements. Sweat trails down his forehead, catching the sunlight. His eyes, though focused on the ground, still carry that distant look, like someone searching for something they don't even know they've lost. Tu Diem stops for a moment, just watching him. This is the man who once stood tall and confident, the man who used to speak about the future with certainty. Now he wears worn work clothes, his life reduced to simple routines. Her chest tightens painfully, but she forces herself to smile. Softly, almost cautiously, she calls out, "Ana Toan oi." He looks up, surprise flashing across his face before melting into something gentler. There's no recognition in his eyes, not the kind she longs for, but there's warmth. And right now, that's enough to keep her standing. The old lady steps out from the kitchen, her voice welcoming and familiar. Tu Diem explains the plan for the day, harvesting together, helping out around the house. She thanks the old lady again for saving Toan, for giving him a place to stay when he had nowhere else to go. Then she asks once more if she can stay for dinner. Toan listens quietly as they talk. When Tu Diem finishes, he nods and says he'll wait for her so they can go together later. It's such a simple sentence, but it makes her heart skip. For a brief moment, the air between them feels different. The faint laughter from the kitchen, the easy rhythm of shared space, It almost feels like a family forming by accident. Tu Diem feels a small spark of hope ignite inside her. Maybe these days spent side by side doing simple tasks will slowly stir the memories buried deep within him. She steps forward to help, filling soil beside him. Their hands brush lightly, just for a second, but it sends a quiet shiver through her. In her heart, she whispers to him, "As long as you're here, as long as we have moments like this, you'll remember." By late afternoon, the small market near the village road is buzzing with life. Tu Diem walks beside Toan, their steps unhurried, blending naturally into the crowd. Together they stop at a familiar stall to choose pork, fresh cuts with just the right balance of lean meat and fat. Tu Diem asks the vendor a few questions, her tone confident, practiced. Toan watches closely, then points at a piece and nods, as if agreeing without words. She smiles at him, surprised and quietly happy that he's starting to take part more actively. Next come the vegetables. They pick bunches of greens, carrots, kohlrabi, and a few ears of fresh corn. Tu Diem holds each ear up to the light, checking the kernels, explaining softly why some are sweeter than others. Toan listens, occasionally asking simple questions, his curiosity genuine. It's such an ordinary scene, yet to Tu Diem it feels deeply meaningful. All of this, every small choice, is for tonight's meal. A meal meant to thank the old lady who saved Toan, who gave him a place to stay when he had nothing and no one. As they walk back, the smell of charcoal smoke drifts through the air from nearby houses preparing dinner. Laughter echoes faintly, mixing with the sound of footsteps and distant voices. Tu Diem feels a swirl of emotions inside her. There's happiness, real, warm happiness from working together like this, but underneath it lies a quiet worry about Toan's future. She glances at him, carrying the bag of groceries with both hands, focused and calm. For a brief moment, an image flashes in her mind. The Toan she once knew, confident, decisive, a man who led meetings and made big decisions as a director. Now he's here beside her, buying food for a simple meal, living day by day. The thought stings, and a wave of sadness passes through her chest. But she quickly pushes it aside. Right now, this is enough. Right now, he is here. She imagines the evening ahead, 3 people sitting together by the fire, sharing food, stories, and warmth. The thought alone makes her heart feel lighter. Back at the old lady's house, the yard slowly fills with activity. Smoke rises as the fire is lit, curling gently into the cooling air. The scent of grilled corn mixes with the sharp, earthy aroma of galangal. Tu Diem rinses the vegetables at the well, water splashing softly as her hands move quickly and confidently. She slices the pork with steady motions, her knife catching the firelight with each cut. The old lady sits nearby, turning corn over the flames, watching Tu Diem with approving eyes. She praises her skill, her voice full of warmth and sincerity. Tu Diem laughs shyly, thanking her, feeling a deep sense of gratitude swell in her chest. Without this woman, none of this would be possible. Toan wouldn't be standing here. This moment wouldn't exist. Toan stays close to the fire, carefully turning the skewers of meat. He concentrates, brows slightly furrowed, as if determined to do it right. The aroma spreads through the yard, glances over at him. He looks relaxed, more relaxed than she's seen him in days. And that alone makes all the effort worth it. The afternoon grows colder, but the atmosphere around the fire feels warm, almost intimate. Soft laughter floats through the air. The old lady chats about simple things, vegetable seedlings, the weather, the coming season. Toan listens quietly, nodding now and then, absorbing every word. Tu Diem notices how naturally he fits into the scene, as if he's always belonged here. She starts preparing the salad, shredding kohlrabi and carrots, adding a touch of chili for flavor. As she mixes everything together, she hopes silently that the old lady will enjoy it. Cooking for Tu Diem has always been a way of expressing care. Tonight, that feeling is stronger than ever. From time to time, she looks at Toan, and her heart fills with an emotion she can't quite name. He's smiling, he's present, he's part of this meal, part of this moment. The tight knot she's been carrying inside her chest loosens just a little, replaced by a simple, honest joy. Maybe he's adapting to this new life. Maybe slowly he's finding his place again. The fire crackles, sparks jumping upward before fading into the night air. Smoke drifts lazily above them, as if carrying with it Tu Diem's quiet hope that moments like this, ordinary and warm, might slowly heal the invisible wound inside Toan. That somewhere deep within him, memories are listening, waiting for the right time to return. As the sky darkens, the fire burns brighter. Golden skewers of meat glisten over the flames, and the roasted corn gives off a sweet, familiar scent. The three of them sit close together, the old lady in the middle, Tu Diem and Toan on either side. Tu Diem serves food carefully, placing the best pieces in front of the old lady first, then turning to Toan. Her voice trembles slightly as she speaks. "Thank you, Bai, for saving on Toan, and for letting me be here today." The old lady smiles kindly, waving it off as if it's nothing. She says she's happy to have them, happy that the yard feels lively again. Her words are simple, but they touch Tu Diem deeply. Toan eats slowly, thoughtfully. Every so often he looks at Tu Diem. His eyes are softer than ever, filled with something gentle and unspoken. The warmth of the fire wraps around them, a sharp contrast to the cold night beyond the yard. Tu Diem feels a powerful connection in that moment. They aren't related by blood, yet the bond between them feels real and strong, built on kindness, shared hardship, and quiet care. She looks at Toan, her heart whispering a silent prayer. As long as days like this exist, she believes, he will remember. Regret for the past still lingers, hovering at the edges of her thoughts. But tonight, hope is stronger than fear. The fire slowly dies down, embers glowing faintly as night fully settles in. Inside Tu Diem, another flame burns steadily, the flame of faith, unwavering and bright. The meal comes to an end, but their story doesn't. It continues quietly, carried forward by love, patience, and the fragile belief that one day, Toan will remember everything he has lost.
Hello mọi người, hôm nay mình sẽ trình bày câu chuyện về Toàn, một người đàn ông sống với những ký ức đã mất. Khi anh dần dần xây dựng cuộc sống của mình thông qua những công việc thường nhật giản dị và sự chăm sóc thầm lặng của những người xung quanh. Dưới mắt theo dõi của một bà lão, Toàn đã bắt đầu thấy vững vàng trở lại. Dù câu hỏi về quá khứ vẫn tiếp tục làm anh trăn trở. Trung tâm của sự bối rối ấy là Tử Diễm, một cô gái trẻ tốt bụng và tận tâm, người mà sự ấm áp gần gũi của cô khơi gợi những tia sáng le lói của những ký ức bị lãng quên. Mặc dù anh không thể nhớ mình đã yêu cô ấy như thế nào, nhưng sự hiện diện của cô mang lại cho sự an ủi, hy vọng và khát khao lớn lao, muốn tìm lại cho con người mình trước đây. Qua công việc chung, những cuộc trò chuyện nhẹ nhàng, những khoảnh khắc bình dị tràn đầy ấm áp, Toàn nhận ra rằng sự chữa lành không phải là lúc nào cũng đến từ việc nhớ lại mọi thứ cùng một lúc, mà đến từ việc sống và yêu thương, tin tưởng những người luôn ở bên cạnh anh khi anh thấy lạc lõng nhất.